Hello, welcome back, and we're going to just go through a little extension of this problem where we use the two sample z-test for the difference of proportions. And we went through this entire example, and we did a good job. However, some of you may have gone right here, and you might have realized that I may have done a little bit of improper calculations, or I didn't write it down correctly in my calculator. That happens. My work is solid. However, this value right here should be 8. Okay, and then also this value right here should be 2. So if you watched my previous video and you got so upset that you put a bunch of dislikes, I apologize. All right, please forgive me. All right, and there's a 2. Now, when you do that, all right, you find a p-value that's going to be a little bit off. All right, so if you go to normal CDF and you put in negative like 1,000 and then you put in negative 0.19 and then you go from 0 to 1 for your standard deviation, and you have this right here. Oopsies, 1 again. All right, and you put in negative 2.32. All right, 0, 1. All right, and then you have this, and you're going to get a value that's a little bit different over here. Now, the reason why I'm doing that is because one thing you can do, all right, is that you can actually use your calculator to help you generate this test statistic and also the p-value. Okay, also the p-value. And so, how do we do that? We're going to show you that right now. And so, if you take out your calculators, all right, I'll clear this, and you go to Stat. All right, and just like we did with, we're going to do a test because this is a test. And now what we're looking for is a 2-sample proportion z-test. All right, test for proportions. Okay, so it's 2 samples. So we're going to go down here, and we're just going to press number 6. And now when you see this, you have your 2 samples that you would be looking for in this. And so I'm going to move this up a little bit real quick. And so from this information, we're going to plug in all the information that we know. All right, and I'm going to keep on going. Oopsies. All right. And there we go. Now I can see all my stuff. So our first one, our P1, which is in this case in the context is women. And what we're going to do is we have 38 over 62. For this proportion 2 is going to be 49 over 61. And now this is where it gets a little confusing. What is P1? Now notice that we have the difference, but what we can also write this as, all right, and what we want to know is that we can actually make these both positive. So P1 in this case has to be less than P2, all right, less than P2. Okay, so P2 has to be greater than P1, and we can write it out that way, okay? And so P2 has to be greater. So if P2 is greater than this one, it has to have all, if you did this confidence interval, all the interval have to be negative, all right? All the intervals have to be negative because P2 is going to be greater than P1. And so over in our calculator, we're going to go and say P1 has to be less than P2. And so you can do that anyway. All right, if you go down then, all right, to each one of these different values, all right, and you may have changed the color if you want, but now we're going to calculate this. And you can see it gives us everything we want. Here's our test statistic, all right, golly gee willikers, all right, I'm just going to take this over here, and I'll just put this over there. And you can see our Z, once again, is the same. I'm just going to move this up a little bit so you can see a little bit better. Z is the same. We can see our p-value is 0.01. In any case, we got the same result conclusion because our p-value, all right, is less than, all right, I'll put 2 there, all right, less than 0.05. So we still rejected null because we do have convincing evidence to support the alternative hypothesis, all right. But that's how you can use your calculator to get your test statistic. So once you write out this answers, I would recommend on a test or quiz, if you have a TI-84, punch that in there. It gets you all the values very, very quickly. It also gives you your p-hat 2, all right, and also your combined proportions. So this is the combined one, all right, that you're looking for when you're doing that. So when you're looking at this, P1, P2, or let's say for the combined, and it gives you all the information you need. So I'm probably going to be using that on some other problems, so I would probably suggest doing that as well. So hopefully this helps you out, saves you a little time, helps you understand on the AP test and other things. It's not always how to get, all right, yes, the calculation is important. However, you can do much of this on your calculator. It's more important do you understand where all this information comes from and why it's used. All right, well, hope this helps you out, and good luck and blessing the rest of your problems.